Go. Ash Wednesday today. 18 days until daylight savings time. 27 days until St. Patrick's Day. Wow. National Battery Day today. When's the last time you checked yours? Swing into Montpelier Mazda Volkswagen today and have it checked out. It'll take you 2 seconds. Good morning. It is Wednesday, the 18th. And you got the Aired Out podcast live from Fly on the Wall Productions, North Main Street in Barrie, where we're seen and heard live on not just Facebook, but also YouTube. And thanks to our YouTubers for connecting in this morning. Facebook question of the day, and I already posted it up this morning. And I know, might be hitting a little bee's nest, but there's a Vermont bill that is seeking to keep law enforcement from wearing masks. And I want to know what you think about this. I want you to comment. I'm asking you, should this be front and center right now in the Vermont legislature? What do you say? Tomorrow is going to be a big day here on Aired Out. We're giving you a chance to win an incredible experience, an unforgettable night of live rock music. Friday night at the Chandler Center for the Arts, Heartless is going to be rocking out with Nothing Safe and Alice in Chains Experience. Jazz is all worked up about this. So excited. The whole band is. This is kind of, we're coming down to the wire here. So if you want to win tomorrow, just like the post. You'll see it. It's everywhere. Comment and share the post. It's that simple. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to choose one lucky winner for a pair of tickets. Weather from NBC5. 31 degrees right now. We've got mostly cloudy skies and 33 later on today. Tonight, mostly cloudy and around 10, a little chilly. Tomorrow, mostly sunny by the afternoon, all the way up to 38 degrees tomorrow. Friday, cloudy, snow in the afternoon. Again, upper 30s, though, like that. Saturday, another inch or so, about 28 for the high, and then Sunday, we finish the weekend with a mix of sun and clouds and around 35 degrees. Deb Phillips on Wednesdays with us right now, live from the World newspaper. Deb, good morning.
Good morning, JD.
How the heck are you?
I'm doing good. Sun's out, all good.
I know. The Vermont Youth Symphony Orchestra is going to be performing tonight at the State House. How do I know this? Because I saw it in the World.
Yes, and it's well worth going. And I guess they've been, packing the place. It's free.
Yeah.
And it's, the performances are absolutely wonderful.
They sure are. Yeah. What is it, like 7:30 or so, I think?
Yes, I think they open up around 7 to go in, and it starts about 7:30.
And this has been a tradition, Deb, for, over 100 years, I think, right?
That's right. That's right. They started it, they call it Farmers Night, because back then the farmers would stay overnight on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And then so they had something for them to do while they were there.
That's fantastic, man. I just love stuff like this. You got the whole entire schedule printed in the World. What else can we expect? What's coming out in today's paper, Deb?
Well, we have money saving coupons, including the coupon from Casa Azteca, where you buy one meal, two drinks, you get one for free. That's at lunchtime only, and that's quite the deal.
It is.
Um,
I've taken
and
advantage of that many times.
I know, me too. Yeah. And then we have your Good Health Directory. But the big news of what we've been doing is there's an online auction. It went live on February 13th, and people are bidding on there's gift cards, there's couch, recliner, there's Stanley cup and cooler. I mean, so many things on this online auction. And, they have starting bids, amounts, but, there's actually even a painting by Joseph Asia, who was a famous local painter, and that one is a $200 value. It's signed painting.
Wow.
So I highly recommend people go to timesargus.com/auction and see what they can bid on.
Wow. Very nice. And that stuff's going to be listed off in today's world?
Well, we have the QR code and the information, so it's not listed there. You need to go to the website to see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, definitely highly recommend it. Gift cards to restaurants, to Bragg Farm, Morris Farm. I mean, there's lots of stuff on there.
Wow. Anything else that you would like to spotlight in today's world, Deb?
Well, coming up at the American Legion Post 10 here in Barrie, they're having their all military and veterans dinner on
Yeah.
Thursday, February 26th, and that one is at 5:30, and it's free for all military and veterans, and guests can offer a donation. So they just want you to, call them and let them know you're coming, so they know how much food to have. But it's a really nice thing that the American Legion does about once a quarter. I think they do
Yeah.
that.
It is. It's wonderful. Yeah. Free for all veterans. By the way, Friday night they got meat bingo over there at Post 10. So
I know.
that's a lot of fun too. It's a lot of fun.
That's a blast. Yes, that's a lot of fun.
Good stuff. Thank you, Deb,
Yeah.
so much. Please say good morning and hello to the rest of the team over there, especially Gary Haas. Everybody knows him. You guys are the world, and we need you. We rely on you for our. You are the conduit to our community, and we love and appreciate all of you so much.
Oh, thank you, JD.
Thanks for everything you guys do. Have a great rest of your day, Deb.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to getting a copy of The World, which can't come soon enough. I love Wednesdays for that reason right there. Greg Hooker on the birthday list today. Cara Mayo, Martin Boudin, Michael Morris, happy birthday, local birthdays. Celebrities, John Travolta, 72. Guy's worth $250 million, can park jets in his driveway. 72 years old. Juice Newton, 74, the Queen of Hearts badass. You remember Juice Newton? Of course you do. Sybil Shepherd, 76. Dennis DeYoung, he is Kilroy, by the way, 79. Molly Ringwald, 58. I'm feeling old. Dr. Dre, 61. Matt Dillon, 62. Vanna White, 69 years old today. Still have a crush on her. Sorry, Sherilyn. Makes $10 million a year on Wheel of Fortune. Sports, Michaela Schifrin's 8-year Olympic medal drought is over. She just won gold. Just like literally minutes ago. Incredible. The American, what was I going to say? Oh, the other front page Olympic schedule. Going to be highlighting men's hockey quarterfinals. That's going to be big. Michaela, I'm just seeing her. It's just coming over the screen right now. Women's slalom. Won by a second and a half. Incredible. I love stuff like that. What a way to What a way to begin! And so many of these Olympians are just they're well into their 30s here, and even 40s, and they're just kicking it. I love it. My good buddy, Sergeant Rick Yarosh, is with me right here, right now on the Aired Out podcast. And this guy is probably one of my biggest heroes. I started out, Rick, that I was just a huge fan of yours and so impressed. And now you're like a hero, brother, to so many. But
I appreciate that.
To me, man, for sure. Even, possibly even more so than Tom. And in no disrespect to Tom. Tom's great. But you're
disrespect Tom. That's fine.
Yeah. You bring it to a whole nother caliber, man. I love you, brother. You've become a great friend, and you are so far beyond. At first, you were an inspiration. Now you are someone that, in my mind, I have often said, what would Rick Yarosh say? No, I'm serious, man. I'm serious. How would he feel about this? You have had one hell of a life so far in your how many years here on the planet?
43 years.
All right.
But reborn almost 20 years ago.
Yes, you were. 2016, yes.
Well, no, 2006.
2006. Hello.
Close.
Hello.
You're close.
Yep. Very close.
One number.
2006. What happened, man? I mean, I know that. Do you ever get sick and tired of sharing the story of what happened to you?
I honestly do not. And I know people think that I might, because I do share it. I probably share it daily, and sometimes multiple times a day, because people are curious. They want to know, if they've never met me before, they want to know what happened. And um, if you want to know something, you know what you got to do? You got to ask. So I'm not afraid to answer the question. I love answering the question. It's a huge part of my life. Like, I say I'm a product of what happened to me 19 years ago. A lot of people say don't let those things in your life define you. And I have a hard time with that sometimes, because I did allow this to define me, but it defined me in a very positive way. But yeah, so almost 20 years ago, blown up in Iraq, Operation Iraqi Freedom. And my vehicle that I was in, Bradley fighting vehicle, for anyone that wants to know what that is, look it up. It's like a tank. My scout buddies hate that I say it's a tank, because it's an armored personnel carrier. But if you look at it, it's a tank.
And it's huge. It's massive.
It's big, but it's if you're comparing it to other tanks, it's pretty small. But yes, it is a large vehicle, 10 feet tall. So my vehicle was hit with an IED that somebody had buried underneath the road. When I tell my story, I always tell it as, my vehicle ran over an IED and the IED exploded. But truthfully, I mean, that is what happened. But somebody actually set that bomb off that day. Killed my buddy Montez, who was in the vehicle with me, Luis Montez. He was the Bradley commander, and I was the gunner. So he was sitting right next to me. He passed away 7 days later. Vehicle's on fire. I'm on fire. I get out of the vehicle. I jump off. I break my leg when I hit the ground. And then I roll into a canal that saved my life. And helicopters came, took me and my buddies to the hospital. I was in the hospital for 6 months, in the actual hospital, but I was truly at the hospital for 3 years. So in and out of the hospital with having surgeries. I was there every day for physical therapy or whatever for 3 years. And then eventually I moved back home to New York. And here I am 20 years later, better than ever.
When I hear this, I think about maybe, how it should have gone, or how it would have gone and has gone for so many people after going through something so tragic like this. You're a veteran, you come home, your life is completely changed. whatever family you have left, uh, that's going to change. Whatever friends you have, those relationships are going to change. Um, if you have a wife, if you have a girlfriend, or if you're single, the rest of your life is kind of mapped out in a way that is not very good. And I see, I smell like just a ton of isolation, loneliness, depression, cut off from the community, living in a home somewhere, not a whole hell of a lot of friends, if any. Um, that's like the furthest opposite of what's going on with you, man. How did you do that?
I think honestly, that's just the way it looks. Like I think when you enter a stage like that, that's the way it'll look for you, but it's not true. Like you know, the world is good. We've talked about this before. There's lots of good in this world, and when tragedy does happen, like you see it in your in your community in Barrie, like when something happens to somebody, you have a fire in a house, and somebody loses their home. What does the community do? They step up and they say, "We're going to help you out. We're going to help you get through this." And that's what happened. I think when you go through it, you feel like there's not going to be anybody there, but then you're going through it and you're like, oh my gosh, I have so much support. And I did. My community, when I got home, I came home a year after my injury for the first time. And I'll never forget it. I got off that airplane and there were the American Legion riders all ready to take me home. I don't know how many there were, but there were over 50 bikes that day to motorcade me home. And then I went through my town on the way home, and the streets were lined with people holding candles because it was late, and holding their flashlights, and it was I'm getting tingly right now just thinking about it in my shoulders. Like I just feel I had so much support. I didn't know I was going to have it. I knew I came from a great place, but I didn't know I was going to come home to something like that. I had so much support. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
All of the support, though, in the world, I mean that's wonderful, but that's not going to snap its magic finger and make all good for you.
It's a, it's a good start.
Damn good start. Yes,
It's a,
true.
it's a good place to start. Yeah. So one thing I don't give myself a ton of credit for what I went through. I give a lot of credit to the people who were around me, my family, my friends, my doctors and nurses, all the people that have joined my life, Tom being one of them. Like all these people that have entered my life have really shaped me in a very positive way. Now, I say I don't give myself enough credit. Now, when I talk about this, I realize I had to want to get better. I had to have a desire to get better to see all that support. That support can all be there every single day. And it probably is. And even the people's lives who are dealing with really awful stuff, there's tons of support there, but they can't see it because whatever they're dealing with is just blocking it out. It was always there for me. And I think it took me a little while to be able to see that, especially when I was in that hospital and all I could focus on was four white walls that I saw every day. But there were people visiting me every day too. People I had never met before just to come in and pray with me. And I think about those people today and I'm like, man, they were there for me. They were supporting me. And I just wasn't able to see it at the time. But I see it every day now. My eyes are open today. I
Yeah.
see the love and the support that I have.
When somebody gives you uh, a look or says, people see you and they want to say, what happened? Do you ever feel like, because you have such a snarky personality and sense of humor, do you ever feel like just saying, if someone says what happened to you, just say like, what are you talking about? Nothing.
Well, uh, it depends on the scenario. I've I've said some off things, some off times.
So is Tom.
Yes, you have, right. But there's times to say off things. There's a time and place for off things. Like, and I know some people will take offense to this, but I will tell you right now that I have permission to use it because I actually met somebody who was dealing with this. And sometimes people will ask, again, this is the right time and situation for this answer. I have people that ask, hey, what happened? And I say meth lab. And so we laugh, and I know that can be personal to some people, but I really did meet a guy who was burned very, very badly in a meth lab, and he allowed that to change his life forever.
Wow.
And in a very positive way. So I say I can use that, but I very rarely use that, and I use it on people like you, and maybe like Tom. But I did use it one time for some reason. I have no idea why. I did it at a bank with this female bank teller, and it was just not the right time.
Yeah.
And she took real offense to it, and I was like, sorry, I didn't mean to offend. That's for sure. Right time and place. That was not it.
I got a question for you. Did you have you have a beautiful wife? Was she your wife before you served in Iraq and before you were blown up in Iraq, or was she a girlfriend before?
I did not know her before my injury at all, and I'm not gonna lie, she would have stuck with me. I mean, she met me after my injury, knew what I looked like when she decided to enter this relationship with me, and all those things. So she's obviously very special, but I am glad I did not have someone before my injury.
Wow.
I really am. There's a man out there named Dave Reaver, and Dave is a hero of mine. When we do circles in schools, we usually lead off with who's your favorite superhero and why. And he's one of mine, just because he was burned very badly in Vietnam, and I watched a little show on him 3 a.m. in the morning when I couldn't sleep because of everything that I was dealing with in the hospital. And he shared his story about how he was injured. He went to the same hospital as me during Vietnam, so long before me, but I could relate with him. But then he shared the story of how he was married and he had kids and he had a job that he loved. And at that time, before I heard those things, I didn't think I could ever have those things, but I wanted those things. And Dave had those things, so that's kind of like, why couldn't I? So he's a hero of mine because of that. But when he shares his story about being in the hospital, there was something pretty terrifying that he talked about because he did have a wife. He was married, and he was laying in that hospital bed, and he had to share a room with somebody else who was burned really bad. And that guy that was burned really bad was in the bed next to him, and he was watching this guy's wife come in one day. And the guy's wife came in. The guy's wife looked at him, not Dave, but the other guy, her husband. And when she saw him, she took her ring off and threw it at him and then walked out of the room. For better or for worse, isn't that what you say when you get married? That's real. But how real is it? When you sign up and you get married and you got this guy who looks a certain way and then he's blown up and whether he's missing his arms or his legs or his face is gone, for better or for worse, sounds really good when you say it. But how real is it? So Dave, when he saw that happen, he was like, oh my God, my wife is going to walk in here eventually. Is she going to do the same thing to me? And that's not what happened. And that's not what would have happened with me either. I mean, my wife is amazing. Like I said, she married me, then met me after my injury. So she knew what I looked like already. But Dave was terrified that was going to happen with him. And his wife came in and she loved him. And, Dave's in I believe his 70s now. And his wife just passed away recently. But they stayed together for that long and they loved each other. And it was amazing. So, Dave gave me a lot of hope in that aspect too. Like, this wasn't the end for me. I didn't have to be alone the rest of my life. And I found my beautiful wife,
wow.
Thankfully.
You just said the word hope, and Tom Murphy, co-founder of Sweethearts and Heroes with you, refers to you as a hope expert. Um, do you? What do you say about that? He kind of pinned you with that. Are you a hope expert?
Tom pinned me with that a long time ago, 15 years ago. And I was like, stop calling me that. Like, I don't know. I am not a hope expert. And, if you go back to my high school days, like researching things and reading things and stuff like that are things that I do not do. So I felt like to be a hope expert, I needed to be able to get online and research all this stuff about hope, and so I had a really hard time with that. So today I accept that term only because I know what hopelessness feels like. I do. The absolute worst feeling a person can have in life. I've felt that before. That's how I know so much about hope today, because I am in the best place today that I could be. I mean, I'm not saying I got things to work on and stuff like that, but I'm still happier than I've ever been. Even with difficult things in my life, I'm still happier than I've ever been. And to be hopeless at one point in my life and to feel the way I do today, I feel like that does make me a hope expert. I just know about hope, and hope to me is hold on, possibilities exist, and that's hope to sweethearts and heroes, and I hope that's hope to everybody. Because when you're hopeless, it's hard to see possibilities that exist, but they are there. Every single day, there are possibilities that exist. And meeting my wife was one of those early on in my recovery.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was, but it was. We don't see those possibilities a lot of the times, but they are there.
Even when you're going through a whole heap of shit, and it's so difficult to see some goodness on the backside of whatever you're going through. And here you are today, Rick. Your hands are well. Hold on, let me turn the camera on.
A mess. Or what people would think of as a mess. I mean, today they're just my hands. That's all they move, but it's perfect. I can hold a microphone. I can hold the steering wheel. I can do a lot with my hands. Most people would not think that, but they're my hands, and I use them every single day.
And you've got one leg.
One leg, 1.5 legs, I guess, technically.
What percentage of your body was burned?
60%. So 60% TBSA, total body surface area. So my chest and my back, the biggest portion of your body, that's actually not burned. It's burned because of the surgeries that I had. I had to have skin grafts taken from those areas. So they're not technically burned from the injury, but they are scarred from the skin grafts that they had to take. So, and the truly that 40% that's not burned, I mean, that's thankfully there, and that's one of the reasons I'm alive today. Because if I wasn't wearing my body armor, which was my IBAS, the vest that you wear, if I wasn't wearing that, I would have burned my whole body. It would have been 100%, and you just don't survive 100%. So because I was wearing my vest that day in the vehicle, you were supposed to wear it in the vehicle, but most people did not, because you're inside of a vehicle. The chance of a bullet going through your vehicle and then hitting you is pretty uncommon. So a lot of people didn't wear them. It was already 130 degrees in the vehicle, and then you're wearing this vest. But I had my vest on, and the fire did not burn through it. So one of the many reasons that my life was saved.
You get off, you jump or fall off of this Bradley 10 feet in the air, come down, break your leg, you're burning alive, you roll down an embankment into like essentially a swamp,
right,
that was just full of disease, and the water put the fire out, but now your body is just full of all kinds of additional bacteria. Who found you, and did you want to did you not want to live? Did you want to end your life?
Not that at that point, no. At that point, I had no idea. I knew it was bad, but did not know what the future really looked like. And when I say the future, I mean like tomorrow. I don't know if I wake up from this because I'm in such bad shape that they're going to put me in a coma. And I didn't know that at the time. But when I'm laying there, like, yeah, I could see my hands were burnt super bad. Like my palms, they call it degloving. My palms were hanging off of my fingertips. So it's like if you wearing a glove and you take the glove off from the wrist up and then you just let it hang off. That's what it looked like. Same with my face. I knew that was burned really bad. But at that moment, I don't think I was even thinking about wanting to die or anything like that. I was truly just living in the moment. Like, all right, this is really awful. This is extremely terrible. And this is after I put the fire out, because before I put the fire out and I couldn't put the fire out with stop, drop, and roll, I had already given up. But once the fire was out, I think, did get some hope back that maybe, hey, we'll see what happens kind of thing. But then in the hospital, that was a whole different story. That was a whole different story. There were days where I didn't want to wake up. There were days that were better than others, but there were certainly mornings that, I kind of wish I hadn't woken up.
A dog entered your life, which you have penned a book about called A Bridge Named Amos. A bridge to life, a bridge to the world that this dog helped you connect to. And you penned this book just as you were getting ready to say goodbye to your beloved dog, Amos. It's a children's book, and you read it to so many, and you have read it to so many kids. I have no idea. Thousands, do you think?
Oh, many thousands, yeah, tens of thousands at this point.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Tell me about the book. Where can we get it? Of course, on Amazon. It's called A Bridge Named Amos.
Yeah.
But
you can get it on Amazon. If you want a bulk order of it, just contact us at info@sweetheartsandheroes.com, and we can get you a bulk order that's much cheaper than purchasing each book individually on Amazon. So that book it was so easy to write. It took me a long time to write because I'm not a writer and I'm not a researcher, and I have a hard time sitting down and doing anything that requires a little bit of work. I'm a master procrastinator. If you say you need it in a week, you'll get it the day before. That's just how I have always worked. Not the best quality I have, but that book was just super easy to write because it was true. Everything in that book is real life. I mean, there's a couple. I mean, obviously, it's told from the perspective of a dog, so that's a little not truthful. But I could see that's how Amos would have saw the world.
Yeah.
We just did. Go ahead.
Speaking of how we see the world, we've got through the eyes of a dog how they see the world, and how your dog saw you, but also how you saw your dog, and how kids saw your dog when you would bring Amos into a school. And that was the icebreaker in many regard, the stigma breaker, where you were able to kind of bridge that gap. And there's the word bridge right there.
Right.
What I want to ask you, Rick, about, I mean, obviously, here you are. You look very different. What do you part of the main, one of the main things that you guys hang your hat on at Sweethearts and Heroes is trying to, I don't know if I could say the word destroy bullying, but certainly at the very least get a real edge up on it. You bring this message, this anti-bullying campaign, for lack of a better term, to so many schools. And here's a guy that when he walks into an auditorium in front of hundreds of kids instantly. And there's no preparation for this. Tom's not out there saying, I want to give you all a warning. My friend Rick is here, and he was burned alive, and blah, blah, blah. You walk in there, and right away, the air can get sucked out of the room. Am I right in saying that?
Oh, you are. So it's funny because it's a different reaction with every group, depending on the age. We do a kindergarten through second presentation, we do a third through fifth presentation, then we have our middle school and high school presentation. And sometimes like the third and the fifth, the kindergarten through second, they might be moving and stuff, but they're not usually too loud, and I can't hear them backstage that often. The third through fifth, Tom really gets them going. And when you bring a third grader up to a high energy level, it's hard to just bring them back down. So sometimes I can hear them out there and they're not being the best for Tom. And then I walk out and it is silence. It is silence. You could almost give me the toughest group. I don't know what that really even means, but you could give me the toughest group of students. And when I walk out, they are silent. Because they want to know, what am I looking at right now? Doesn't matter how old they are, 5 years old or 18 years old. They're wanting to know what the heck happened. So I don't demand their attention, but I command their attention. Like it's just what happens when I walk out from backstage.
Kids that are bullied. And man, we've taken a couple of over the last whatever year or so that I've been connected with Sweethearts and Heroes. We've taken some pretty serious deep dives into bullying. But there's kids, and correct me, jump right in if you want to add something to this. There's kids that are sitting in the audience that they may in some way relate to you from the standpoint of, and I don't care what age they are, of I feel like Rick. I feel that I look different. Whether I'm overweight, underweight, too tall, too short, a skin color that is not jiving in my school, I'm wearing a badge that I just can't take off. You're labeled as the guy that was burned. I'm labeled as the geek. I'm labeled as whatever. The relatability is massive, and I know that you know that. What do you say to kids who are bullied at school?
Yeah, so I mean, those kids right there that you're talking about, they feel smaller or weaker, and that's one of the things that makes bullying. Somebody that feels smaller or weaker, they've been made to feel that way with their weight or with their height or with their smarts or whatever. They've been forced to look at themselves differently. My thing is, in my life today, and it's hard for me to always relate it because I'm a 43-year-old man who's been through a lot and can look at things a little differently. But in the end, what it comes down to with that for yourself, we know, Tom and I know, we are not going to get rid of bullying. It's not going to happen. It's been around forever and ever and ever, and it will be, unfortunately. What we do is we give the bystander, the person that sees it happen, the tools to recognize that they are the solution. They are the solution. They're not going to fix the bully, but they're going to help that target feeling accepted, feeling included. They probably don't feel that way. They don't feel like everybody's going to jump to their aid if something did happen. Well, they need to feel that way. They need to feel like you are going to do something about it if something is happening. But for me, for that target, they feel smaller or weaker. Part of that, a big part of that, is just not being comfortable with who they are. And some of that is the bully's fault. I mean, they've made them feel weaker. They've pulled them out of their comfort zone. They've made that kid look in the mirror and question who they are. Like, that's not good. That's the thing with me. I am just extremely comfortable with who I am today. I'll ask little. I do, the Q&A after we do the presentation. I'll do a Q&A with the younger kids. I'll read the book and then I'll do a Q&A, and they're always super curious about what happened and all those things. And then I talk about being comfortable with who I am. Like I said, do you think I like the way I look? And the little ones are like, no. Middle schoolers, maybe fourth and fifth graders, they kind of are like, yeah, because they kind of get a gist of who I am already. But the little kids are like, no, you think I like the way I look? They're like, no. And I'm like, you're right. I don't like the way I look. And they're like, oh. I'm like, I love the way I look. I said, do you know why I love the way I look? And they're like, no. And I'm like, because it's the way I look. Like, there's nothing I can do about this. And if I can't do something, if I can't change something about it, then I better learn to love it. I better learn to get used to it. That's where it started, just getting used to it. And today, this is the way I look, so I love the way I look. I asked the kids, can you change the way you look? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then you better learn to love the way you look. Like, I know middle schoolers especially struggle with that. They're questioning everything at that point in their life. They need to recognize that that is who they are. Embrace it. Embrace it. Love it. Figure out how to love it. I don't know how you figure out how to love it exactly, but look at yourself and love it.
This is deep stuff, man, and you're trying to we're trying to teach kids to do something that is years and years and years ahead of I just but it's also it's not all just love yourself and the way you look, but for others that don't share that, you don't need to seek their friendship or their approval, or you just don't need them to like the way you look or dress or act or what your hair is. You just don't need them to love that. You need to love that.
You need to love that. And when you love that, other people start to love it too.
Yeah.
That just happens when you're confident in who you are, when you're comfortable with who you are, other people will start to love that as well. So that is a change. I can't change that in a person. They just have to realize that that can happen. And those other people, that's who we're targeting. Those people who see it. You see that kid that's not accepting you. Come on. Why? Why are you not accepting that person? Because they're different? Oh, really? Are you different in any way? No, you're not. Oh, that doesn't make any sense at all. Every single one of us in this world is different. And that's the message that I share with the little kids. Every one of us is different in one way or another. And we want to be accepted. We want to be included in things. So it doesn't make sense when we exclude people because they're different. Makes no sense at all. You're just telling me they're more different than you. And that doesn't make sense either because you're more different than them.
Rick, tell me about you started out this morning saying something to the effect of 2006 when my life started over, or when I was reborn, or something like that. I can't remember your exact words, but before that, though, tell me about your childhood. Tell me about your parents, your friends, your network, and what's still intact and what's changed. But tell me about the early days, man.
So I loved sports. I grew up in the sports world. My dad was a big athlete. We were in the winter, we were cross country skiing, and my dad was snowshoe racing. And speaking of the Olympics, like, my dad would do the Empire State Games every year in New York State, and they held that, of course, in Lake Placid because they had the perfect facilities for the Empire State Games. It's basically the New York State Olympics, and I would go to those with my dad every year, and we would go to the summer ones as well because we were into wrestling, and I played baseball and I played football and I canoed and I kayaked. That's really what we were doing in the summer as well. We were doing the Empire State Games with canoeing and kayaking. So I grew up outside doing all of those things. We had wrestling mats in our house. We had wrestling mats in our living room growing up, and my mom hated that. So eventually we got kicked out of the house and we moved them into the garage. But I was doing that stuff all of the time. I wasn't the best at any of those things, but I was involved in them all of the time. Actually, one time my dad was doing the Empire State Games in Lake Placid, so Adirondack Mountains, and he's doing snowshoeing. I decided I'm going to throw some cross country skis on. I'm 10 years old, and I'm going to go on this trail. I'm going to go cross country skiing on this trail. 10 years old, out in the Adirondacks by myself. Perfect idea. My dad thought it was a terrible idea, but I don't think I even told him. So he's doing his race. I take off. I get lost in the Adirondack Mountains, like by myself. I have no clue where I am. It's getting dark. I start I've gone way too far to just turn around and go back because it's going to be pitch black by the time I get back. I'm just hoping this trail takes me around back to where I'm going. We're supposed to be going. It does not. I come out of the woods and all of a sudden there's my hotel, and my hotel is not anywhere near where I started at the course for my dad's race, but at least I know where I am. But it's before cell phone, so I can't just call. And the only way I know how to get back to the course is by the road because we've driven it a whole bunch of times. So I took my skis off, I threw them over my shoulder, and I start walking back towards the race course, and this van stops and pulls over next to me. And they opened they opened their sliding door and they said, "Are you Rick Yarosh?" And I was like, yes, I am. Like, you know my name, I am dead. Like, you don't know me.
Yeah.
But you know my name. So I get in the van. I guess it's a different time in the world, too. You don't just get in some stranger's van at 10 years old.
Yeah.
But I did. Got in the van, and they took me back to the course, and the Rangers were there, and they're like, "Man, we had the snowmobiles out looking for you." And they said we were very close to calling the helicopters to look next.
Wow.
So, yeah, I wasn't always the smartest kid. Actually, I'm still not the smartest kid making dumb decisions like that. But that was a part of me. I grew up with that. My dad did this canoe race one time down in New York City and Sebago, and he dropped me off at this swimming area. I didn't know anybody. Actually, most of the people didn't even speak English. It was mostly Spanish-speaking people, and there was me and my friend. And my dad says now today he looks at it and he's like, "What was I thinking?" But that's how I grew up. I just loved that. I didn't think anything weird of it. So we grew up kind of doing our thing and doing sports and had the best family. You know, my mom, my dad, still alive, thankfully, and my brothers, and I had a great friend system, and I don't know, kind of created who I am today.
Wow. Question here from a listener: do you think having a healthy and active lifestyle played a part in your survival and recovery?
I credit wrestling with so much of my survival. Wrestlers are a different breed. It is a tough sport, and I'm not taking away things from other sports. It's just one of the sports that I did that I'm telling you right now, there were times that I hated wrestling because it was so difficult. You're in that room wrestling with your buddies for 2 hours after school, and you lose 4 pounds during that 2 hours. Like, that's insane. That's intense. So there were parts that I didn't love, but it shaped me. And I always, when I speak to wrestlers, I talk about it, like getting out of that vehicle that day. That's like escaping when you're on bottom for that one point. You're trying to get that escape. When I was laying on my back on fire, laying there, and in wrestling, if you lay on your back, you lose.
Yeah.
And in wrestling, if you lay on your back for long enough, eventually you probably give up and you just give up that pin. It's the same thing. I was laying on my back and I had given up, but I had to fight it. And eventually I rolled in one direction and I ended up in that canal. So, yeah, I believe that having that active lifestyle was certainly a part of my recovery. You know, one thing my dad always said, and he told my doctors, he said, he said, speaking of himself, he said, I would have never survived something like this. And the doctors are like, no, you wouldn't have. First off, because the medical field was not what it is today, back 50 years ago, for one. And also because of age. Like if it happened to him at 50 something years old, the fact that I was 24 years old and in pretty good shape, that was a part of my survival for sure.
I'm getting some some intel here that's coming into my phone.
I don't
And
like the intel that you're getting.
I know, and I'm not going to reveal who it's coming from.
You
But
don't have to. I know.
what's that?
I said you don't have to.
No, I won't. Um, because I don't want to get beat up. But
He's a wimp.
I'm getting a question here. Ask him about Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger, not someone you ever want to be compared to because the backstory of Freddy Krueger is pretty awful. But most people don't know the backstory, thankfully, because if they did, it would be worse. But we were at a school one time. We showed up, and we always hide from the little kids, and before we do a presentation with them. And I don't know if we were even speaking to little kids at this school that day. It might have been before we were doing the little kid presentation. But of course, there's these little kids walking into the school in a line, all lined up, and I can't avoid them. There's just no way we're walking in the same way. And this little first grader stops dead in his tracks, and he's looking up at me, and he says, "Oh man, you look like Freddy Krueger." And I was like, I looked right at him, and I was like, "How do you know who Freddy
Freddy
Krueger
Krueger.
is?" Yeah, I am Freddy Krueger, right? I've only messed with a little kid one time, and I'll never do that again. That was when I saw a little kid in a grocery store, and I was not in a good place mentally. Early on in my recovery, in my wheelchair, he walks up beside me, and he's staring at me the whole time. And when he got up next to me, I went like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I scared him on purpose. That
Wow.
was awful. Never again.
So
that
what
was
did you?
early on.
So what did you say to this kid?
Well, so he said, you look like Freddy Krueger. And I looked at him and I said, how do you know who Freddy Krueger is? You are 6. Like, my daughter is 6. She doesn't have a clue who Freddy Krueger is. But that told me a little bit about probably what he had going on at home. But yeah, so then afterwards, that kid, I'll never forget, I was sitting outside of the auditorium waiting to go into my older kid presentation. And this teacher brings that little kid up, and the little kid is crying at this point. And the teacher made him apologize to me.
Oh.
I felt so bad for that little kid. Listen, he was 6. 6-year-olds say things.
Sure.
I was 30, who knows, 4 or 5 years old at the time, probably a little younger than that, 32. I didn't need that little kid to be forced to come up to me and apologize for something that little kids do. I felt so bad for him. It didn't help him in any way, really.
Tom wants me to ask you why they called you Lunchbox.
Really? Listen, he's just jealous, or what he's doing is he's trying to make himself, because I'm sure they didn't call him Lunchbox.
Yeah.
In high school. Listen, I like lunch and breakfast and dinner and snacks and stuff like that. So it was called Lunchbox. And if anybody knows who, now I can't remember his name. He's one of my favorites. Kevin Smith, I believe. Now, for some reason, that's slipping my mind. Kevin Smith, Dogma, Mallrats, Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah, everybody knows Jay and Silent Bob if you've watched any of those movies. His nickname is Lunchbox, and it's not because he's a thin dude. So I was Lunchbox. I was proud of Lunchbox, so I had no problem. So proud of Lunchbox that was my first email address ever. Lunchbox, yeah.
And finally, tell me about Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Okay, yeah. So Chuck, I don't remember meeting Chuck Norris. I was in a mess. I was still in ICU, but he came to visit the hospital, and my dad was with me, and Chuck was in the room with me, and he asked my dad. They asked my dad because he had a PR guy with him, and they asked my dad if they could get a picture with me. And I wasn't even with it, and my dad was like, "No, no, we just don't want." We don't want those pictures circulating. We don't know. We don't have Rick's permission, and I would have been fine with it, but I totally understand why he didn't do that. So they didn't take the picture, but he did sign something for me, and then they left the room, and my dad followed him out because he wanted to like apologize for saying, "Hey, man, I'm sorry you couldn't take the picture. This is why." But when my dad got out into the hallway to talk to Chuck, Chuck was crying. He was crying because at that time I was in rough shape. I was in rough shape. So I guess I made Chuck Norris cry. That's like the thing. Chuck Norris is the toughest man in the world, and I made him cry. So my dad shook his hand, and my dad said he shook hands like a girl.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's my dad though. My dad growing up got compared to Chuck Norris a lot. My dad's a lunatic when it comes to like being in shape. And oh man, Tom always says, I know Tom could, or as my dad's name is Tom as well. Tom can climb a rope with no legs. And when he says that, it sounds like he has no legs, but like that's not a hereditary thing.
Right.
So like I have, not because of my dad not having no legs. He just climbed a rope not using his legs. But my dad was insane. Like I said, we had wrestling mats in our house.
Yeah.
So that was my dad. My dad kind of looked like Chuck Norris. So, but yes, that was always the thing. Is I made Chuck Norris cry.
Wow. Yeah. Rick, you're running all over. You're everywhere, man. You and Tom both just don't stop.
Tom doesn't stop.
Yeah.
I have limitations. I put stops in place. Tom does not. Yeah. He is 150% all the time.
If you called Tom at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, would he answer? And if you said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry to disturb you, but I got to talk to you right now," what would he say?
Oh, he would. Well, he knows that, Tom knows more about what's going on in my life than anyone else. Like maybe even my wife sometimes, just because I see him more. And but he would absolutely answer because he'd be ready for maybe a tough conversation that would just with life and how things are going. And if it's 2 a.m, Rick's probably calling for maybe not I don't know if good reason is the right word, but a reason that you got to pick up the phone.
I called Tom once, not knowing that he was sitting on a beach in Costa Rica wearing his Speedo.
Yeah.
And I know. And he answered it, and I'm like, "Hey man, you got a minute?" He's like, "Yeah, oh yeah." And we get talk we get talking a little bit, and after like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, he tells me he's sitting on the beach in Costa Rica. I'm like, "Dude, I am so sorry. Why are you talking to me right now?"
Tom is the only person I know that doesn't have a minute.
Yeah.
That has a minute.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Honestly, like he doesn't have a minute, but he always has a minute. It's kind of funny how that works. He always makes time for what's the most important at that time.
What's the biggest thing for Rick Yarosh? Is it resiliency? Is it hope? Is it attitude, which is massive at the end of the day? Because you've told me before, JD, and you've told me off the air, it is a guarantee that you're going to be going through some shit. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
But what's that one thing, man? Is it hope? Is it resilience? Is it attitude? Is it something else?
I guess it's all those things for sure. But I think like hope is a big one. I have things to look forward to. Like, and maybe it's tomorrow. Maybe it's a week away. Maybe it's a year ahead. Maybe it's 20 years ahead. I'm always looking. I am awful at living in the moment. I've never been good at it. I'm not good at it. People say be mindful, and I am terrible at being mindful. I'm always looking forward to what's next. And so I'm always looking forward. When you say looking forward, a lot of times it's a good thing that you're looking forward to. I'm always looking forward. I don't see bad things in my future. Like, I'm sure that there will be some bad things in my future. I don't see those things. What I see is good things in my future, things that I'm really looking forward to. A vacation that I'm going on, going to the father daughter dance this weekend with my girls. The day after the father daughter dance, flying to Louisiana to speak to students about hope. Like, I am always looking forward to something. So I think that's the biggest thing. But I think that is hope. Those are the possibilities that exist for my future that I can see.
And what do you say to folks that have had hope and then have been, frankly, bitch slapped with
Yeah.
with bad news? It's difficult to find the hope again.
Yeah. Well, it's okay to realize that you're in a really difficult place, but open your eyes and see the good that is right in front of you. You got to recognize it. It's there. It's a guarantee that it's there. There's so much good in this world. You just have to be able to see it. You have to clear, I've talked about this before, clear the smoke that's in front of you just enough to catch a glimpse of the good things on the other side. And then the smoke starts to clear once you can see that glimpse.
Sergeant Rick Yarosh, who
Brother.
survived a horrific roadside bomb in Iraq while serving in 2006, Purple Heart recipient, expert on hope, friend. What else do we say? Just an amazing human being, co-founder of Sweethearts and Heroes, and a massive influencer. Someone who gives motivational speeches to thousands of students and adults, businesses all over the place, and author, great husband, amazing dad. List goes on, man. You're and a friend, and I am so blessed by you, my man. You have been one of the greatest gifts, you and Tom, over the last year of my life.
Well, I consider it a blessing to know you. I really do.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming on, man.
I love you, JD. Thank you.
Love you too, brother. And I look forward to seeing you next, man. All right?
Absolutely.
What a great guy. And listen, if you want to send Rick a note, you can drop it right here in the comments if you want to. He will be reading them. We've got a lot of comments here, a lot of comments. But if you would like to say anything to Rick, drop something in the comments now. Or, of course, get on sweetheartsandheroes.com. And, yeah, I mean, just like Dan Alexander is posting right now, that's a hero. You're damn straight. Remarkable. This is the kind of podcasting that I love so much. Connecting with people and showing them a different side of life and relatability is tremendous. I can't thank Rick enough and his entire team, which has been tuned in this morning. Loudon and Pat Fish and Winton and everyone else who loves Rick so much and sees him so much more than just a team member of Sweethearts and Heroes. Listen, if your school has yet to bring Sweethearts and Heroes into their walls, you really ought to consider it. If you're a parent, if you're an administrator, maybe your superintendent is not aware of Sweethearts and Heroes. which was rooted right here in the Green Mountain state of Vermont. Get on the website, sweetheartsandheroes.com. Get in touch with the team. It's easy to do so. They'll come to your school. They'll get you on their calendar. It's jam-packed, but they will get you on their calendar, and they will come to your school. And I guarantee you that they will make a massive difference in the lives of the students and the administration at that school. I guarantee it. Take 1 hour at a time, if you can. Be good to one another. Take a deep breath. And we'll get through the rest of this winter together, hopefully, without freezing our tails off. Lots happening. Man, it has been a week. It has been a week, and I've been looking forward to having Rick Yarosh on with us since Monday. Super guy, superhero right there. Take good care. Don't forget to drop a comment, to like, to share. If this was a episode that you enjoyed, that resonated with you, or you think it might with someone else, share it. Rick Yarosh, powerhouse from Sweethearts and Heroes. Every Wednesday here on the Aired Out podcast, we spotlight the great things that they're doing. And I can't wait until the next one. Be good. Keep an eye on the page for some community calendar stuff coming up for the weekend. G is going to be closing out the week on Friday with me. And he's going to be amazing. I can't wait. Take good care. God bless you. And we'll see you tomorrow morning right here on the Aired Out podcast.